Welcome to Connect and Collaborate. I am Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and this week we are focusing on construction. But we're going to start out with a little bit of a different look at construction. We're going to talk workforce development, and I'm very excited to have some people here in the studio with me. Right here to my left is Michael Gifford. He is the president and CEO of the Associated General Contractors of Colorado. I'm getting there.
You're getting there, Alex. That's
How are you, Michael?
Excellent, excellent on this great Colorado day, and we're excited to be here. We are blessed to have a great economy in Colorado, but I'd like to go back a little bit to the year 2007, and we had 170,000 construction employees in Colorado. And then fast forward to 2011, and we were down to 105,000 construction employees, a 40% drop.
Yeah.
We had the Great Recession, certainly in our industry. And now today, in 2018, believe it or not, we're at 175,000 construction employees. So we're actually surpassed the high water mark that we had back in 2007. And if we look forward to 2023, our study with CSU says that we're going to need 189,000 employees. So we need to add another 14,000, and with the baby boomers, we're having a lot of employees retire. So really we need 30,000 additional employees in the next 5 years from where we are today. The good news is people want to build things, whether it's roads and bridges, or it's commercial buildings, or it's homes. And so we know we're going to need to go out and find that employment base, and there's great career opportunities, and people are being advanced quickly. So it's a great story, a great career, but we have a lot more work to go, and glad we're here to talk about some of our ideas today of how we're going to get there.
Yeah. So we have with us as well Joel Pennick. He is a senior project manager at J.E. Dunn Construction. So you're in the construction field. How are you, Joel?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for including us today to be able to talk about this exciting time in construction and really, for us, kind of this turning point in being able to kind of move forward with this vision of, 2023 and how we get folks into the trades. So we're very excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got the Associated General Contractors, and we have the construction. Let's talk about schools. I have with me Lindy Cosgrove. How are you, Lindy?
I'm good. And you?
Yes, I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Yes. So you are an employment specialist, and you are here representing the school districts, right?
Yes, I am, across the board.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was chosen, but there was a lot of participants this first year.
Yeah.
And I'm here to speak about the benefits of what we saw in the schools across the board, and how hopefully we changed the lives of a number of young people this year, and more to come.
Yeah, so we actually have not even named the program that we're talking about. It's the Colorado Construction Program. And so this is, we're talking, construction. We need workers. As Michael mentioned, we need 30,000 additional workers by 2023, which is really just around the corner, right?
Absolutely. And that's, you forgot the one key word, connection.
Connection, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Colorado Construction Connection Program.
That's what we do, is we are connecting their needs with the labor force and the upcoming labor force.
Yes. And so this is a theme that we've had several times here on the Connect and Collaborate show, is talking about workforce development and the low levels in the trade fields, right? We have across the board in Colorado, we have an amazing unemployment rate. It's 2.3%, I believe. Yeah, so we're pretty low.
Yes.
And finding quality employees is really hard across the board, but particularly in the trade fields.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how this came about. Why? Obviously, we know why we needed to start this program, but let's start with the ideology of it and to fruition.
Sure. So as an organization, AGC is 570 construction firms, commercial construction firms, and we sat down actually back in 2014 and looked at this report from CSU, and at that time we were about, we were less than the 175,000 employees, and we saw that $189 9,000 employee number, and really took a hard look at that and said, we have to do something different. And so the first thing we did was form the industry website, buildcolorado.com, where we could have a number of things available listing all of the different trades, what they do, their career path, how much they make, current jobs that are listed available. And then we could go out and start to describe to parents and to youth the the options that are available in construction. But what we realized is that in the high schools, there wasn't a specific type of construction activity that many of us had 30 years ago. It was called industrial arts or shop.
I built a footstool. It was amazing.
I built several items, and they were not quite square around, so I became an executive director of the association. They didn't let me have a tool belt after that. So we really looked at that, and then we said, how can we have a way to describe what's available? And I don't want to go too far into the program because we have others who are more of an expert in this program, but how can we describe that? How can we help the school administrators, the counselors, with the career paths that are available? And so this particular program was born.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so one of the things that we see at the job site level is not enough workers on the job sites for us to build all the projects that we've made commitments to, right? Owners and clients and people to fulfill. We have all the different trade partners constantly looking for workers. So we see it all the time at the job site level. Yeah. And then we come to the trade, association meetings like AGC, and we hear the same common themes. And then often, when we've had different events with high schools, we find students looking for something that's kind of exciting, something that's new, something that's different. And so all of this program is meant to really help kind of connect all those people together. So the Colorado Construction Connection was very, natural in how kind of it got started. And like Michael said, is as contractors, we want to help go out and provide the high schools that might not have the resources to be able to even speak to some of the opportunities in construction. Maybe there isn't even the counselors aware of what all we have going on the Build Colorado site, all the different trainings and apprenticeships that are available. Often the construction companies help put the students and the workers through the training. I mean, great benefits, all these great things, and so how can we help provide the resources for that? So the first year we were able to come up with a group of about 80 or so construction folks that volunteered to help with the program, and then we came up with 11 high schools that were able to say we'll be committed together. And so between those two groups, we were kind of assigned schools that what we call the navigators. So you have construction, and it's diverse contractors. It could be electricians, carpenters, whatever the different trades are. We make it diverse.
Okay.
And then they're basically a liaison to that school to facilitate job site tours, career fairs, all those different types of things. And just basically that school then has us as resources.
And it has been fantastic, Alex.
I would imagine.
Oh, my gosh. I work with Cherry Creek School District with the Work-Based Learning Program. And one of our high schools, Smoky Hill High School, was one of the chosen schools. It was fantastic. So they had a team of navigators. And then another high school, Bennett High School, I was their liaison from the Colorado Construction Connection Steering Committee. I was the facilitator with Bennett High School and the team of navigators. And to see this come to fruition this year was so amazing. I would actually have guidance counselors at one of the high schools who would overhear me talking with a student, and the counselor would come up to me and say, I can help these kids go to college. I know that. I don't know how to help them into the trades. And that is where this has just skyrocketed with counselors, educators, and parents now wanting to learn more about it, because in the past it wasn't a career opportunity. It was a walk onto the job site, see if they're hiring a laborer, and that was kind of the mindset. So as our economy is changing, the needs are changing in the industry, and we've got an up-and-coming workforce that it is so amazing. Some of the benefits that these trades are offering these young adults is just far and above what anything I would ever expect as a parent. It's just an opportunity that people don't know about. And we've really got to change that mindset out there that these are lifetime careers.
Yes. Well, and one of the things I think we focused on for so long is this: you have to have the 4-year degree path, right?
Yes.
That's been an overarching theme for a long time now, and people kind of snub their noses a little bit in the trades field,
Right.
And which is just not fair, because college isn't for everyone, right? There's a path out there for everyone, and I love that you guys are focusing on being able to get high school students right into the workforce right away, right? And it's good money to be made.
Oh, I've had a couple of graduates just walk the stage, graduating from high school and walked straight into an entry-level career starting at $15 an hour and will be an apprentice in 3 years.
Which is amazing.
And at no cost.
Exactly.
They're learning on the job.
No
and
debt.
At no debt. And there are those careers that do require your college educations.
Absolutely.
But we need to open the doors and the blinders to the jobs that are right here in our economy, that is just to be a part of the build. We've got some huge projects in Colorado they're going to be history makers.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to say I was a part of the Gaylord Center or one of these, huge events that we have going on right now.
Yeah.
It is so amazing.
Yeah. And what were you going to say?
Well, I just wanted to add to what Lindy said about just kind of opening the eyes for everybody. I think, if anything, just creating the exposure to construction and getting students on a job site, for me, is one of the most impactful things that we could do. Because when you look at construction itself, to me, it's very exciting. It's something different every day, different challenges. You're continuously learning. It's challenging, and so there's so much to it. And I can't imagine, when you look at with how diverse construction is, from electrical, framing, concrete, tile, business development, marketing, accounting, project management, project coordination, truck driving, deliveries, crane operator. There's something for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the funnest parts of the program for me is being able to get on a job site and show it and talk about it. And to me, you just can't do that in
A classroom setting.
a classroom. We could talk about it all day, but till you go look at it and see, it really connects, I think, with a lot of people. I personally started out thinking I wanted to be an engineer, and went through a lot of the math and the science and the books, and I liked it, and it was great. But then I spent some time, because I needed to get a good job out of high school, instead of working at doing something different. I wanted to go make really good money. I was a laborer for a summer, and I was just hooked on being on job sites. And
I would imagine it's like any other field that you get really passionate about. You get that bug in you, and you just gotta go after that, right? And you're bringing up really great points. It's different every day. You're outside. You're not sitting behind a desk for 8 hours a day and making sure that you have to take a break, right? You're out. You're doing things. You're in the elements, which that sounds really nice some days for me.
Some days.
Yes.
There are those other days too. But, the biggest benefit of this program this year that we saw from the students' perspective was getting on those job sites. When these GCs had opened up a job site, each school got to do a job site tour, and their team of navigators set up hands-on activities throughout the job site. So it wasn't just, they're building a school. They got to see all the facets, all the trades that were there, and some of the trades even did hands-on activities with them. It was absolutely, they got to see and touch and feel, and left, and a couple of my students were like, wow, now I'm really confused. I thought I wanted to go this direction, but that was really cool. So it's just, they need to see it and touch it.
And at the end of the day, right, you built something, you made something, which is in and of itself rewarding. So how are the firms doing with this? Can you speak to that? First of all, this was only 9 months from an idea to pushing in, right?
We ran.
Okay. Which is great for a program like this. 9 months is not enough time, but you're doing well.
So the first thing for me, you can imagine as a trade organization, we have a lot of committees, we have a lot of programs. When we sent out the invitation to be involved in this specific program, we had a record amount of response from our members. They are so excited, and I think part of what you're talking about at the school is you're feeling the excitement
Yes.
of the actual construction representatives that come to the school and take them to the job site. They are as excited as the students
Yes.
are.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
we just had an overwhelming response. We had to put more people on each team than at the 11 schools because we had so many. And I think we have more information probably coming up in a moment about what we have next. But so that was the first thing. And then they made this really cool, I think of it as a binder. It's on the computer, but it's also a physical binder. And that has all the different pathways in there. And I kind of wanted to bring that up because
Yeah.
you can start out in a trade, make really good money, including benefits, and you're moving along. But especially with the baby boomers retiring, you move kind of up the ladder, if you will, quickly. And there's another time to go back to school for some of what are considered the more traditional subjects, as you start to go into supervision and management. And you'll find most of these contractors that are in responsible positions in the company do have a 4-year degree, but they may not have gotten it all first. They learn what goes into building a building, and then when you're finally getting that academic training, it means a lot more because you're applying it every day at work. And those are the people that are coming back out to the schools and showing them. So they're as excited as the students are, and I think that's the excitement that the students feel as well.
And like I said, speaking on behalf of the counselors, which I'm not a guidance counselor, but they need these resources. And so we need one of these in every high school out here with the manual of, it's a guidance, for the counselors to help. What does a day in the life of an electrician look like?
Yeah.
So there's a section on that. What are the median wages? What is the forecast for that career? And with the manuals also comes a jump drive. So every counseling office at these high schools needs to get one. And they could do that by contacting the Association of General Contractors or going to buildcolorado.com. But these jump drives are worth their weight in gold. I mean, this is how we get the word out to the schools, to the counselors, to the families even.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of calling, do we want to give a number away?
We have a number.
Yes.
This is the number for AGC, or Associated General Contractors, 303-388-2422.
Awesome. But again, buildcolorado.com is where you can also get these resources from to get involved. And whether that's on the school side or on the construction side, your companies that you have joining, right, which you've mentioned that they're so excited. That's good news to hear. What were your thoughts when you first heard about this? And clearly you wanted to get involved, and you very much are.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned kind of the quick start from idea to execution.
Yes.
And I think, we really did just finish that first season. It does kind of run concurrent with the school year. So we just kind of wrapped up with this last spring semester that ended, and now we're kind of gearing up to start in the fall. And so we did learn a lot from the program as far as making sure to better establish some expectations from the high school as to what they would get from the navigators. Also, as far as navigators, those that want to volunteer to be a navigator, what is required of you? So a few things we also set up was trying to geographically match where navigators wanted to be with where the schools were. And so, we really did a really good debrief, deep dive into what worked, what could be better, and how do we go and keep moving forward and expanding the program. So going forward, we've reached out to all the industry representatives. So someone like myself, Michael mentioned all the industry partners we have at AGC. We sent out an email to, I would say, thousands of folks in the industry that want to participate. Here's a poll to fill it out. Here's what's expected of you, geographic location, all those type of items. And we're requiring a 1-year commitment. So you'd go the full school year. I mean, going forward, would it even work to have it be multiple years? That way you're that consistent force in that school. They always have someone to go to, a freshman and a senior. You've been with those same representatives the whole time, they'd be really clear. You'd have, really clear on who to go to talk to if you wanted to get into construction. So, again, the other items are mandatory. There's two events you have to attend at the school. Ideally, we're doing a tour at a minimum spring and fall. That way we catch both students that might only have a semester class. We have opportunities for career fairs, for mock interviews, resume building sessions, things like those, that even if you decide to do something that's not construction, you still at least get that experience in front of a professional. So, trying to really help with whatever way possible we can. A couple other items, if the school does have career fairs, a lot of schools already have career fairs that are ongoing. Anytime the school is that we're engaged with is having a career fair, all of our navigators will attend those and represent their industries or companies. And then also just at the end of the school year, at the end of the commitment, to be engaged in that debrief and what worked well, what could we do better going forward, and all that type of stuff. So it is kind of, something that we think is really important, is to communicate those expectations of those people that volunteer to be in the schools, because the schools are accepting us, letting us come into their world, and so we have a commitment to follow through and provide them with those services. So that's kind of our alignment. And then the other part of it that Lindy can speak to is maybe what the commitment was on the school side real quick before we go to the break. That'd be a good
Absolutely. What we do in the schools is, one, we don't just open this up for a get-out-of-school free day. These are students sorry.
That's another name for that.
These are for students with an expressed interest or a wanting to learn, and that's what we want to open it up for. My navigators that I've worked at a couple of the different schools were absolutely amazing. They freely gave out their cards to my students. They came in and did a panel discussion, and the students were able to ask questions and learn about the various trades. They have just opened up their doors to our students, and it's interesting because the navigators, like Joel was saying, are diverse, different specialties, and they're not fighting over each other to get that kid. They are freely sharing their knowledge, their background, their futures with our students, and to help guide them into their career path, and then telling them also the paths to get where they want to go. So it has just been so awesome this year, between the career fairs, the job site tours, the hands-on activities, panel discussions, or just having a business card and being able to call. That has been awesome. With all the navigators that I've met, personally as an employment specialist, I can call at any time, any one of them, and ask, can I set up a job shadow? And they just freely do that for me. So, I mean, it's been awesome.
Oh, this sounds amazing. We have about a minute here before we go to break. And so one more time, visit buildcolorado.com if you want to get involved as a school, if you want to get involved as a construction company. You can also check out the Associated General Contractors website for more information there. But buildcolorado.com is specifically built to talk about this Colorado Construction Connection Program. So Triple C, remember that. And we will be right back here on Connect and Collaborate. So in the meantime, you've got a 5-minute break. Check out those websites. Be sure to check out this program and more at cobrt.com/radio-podcast. And be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube page. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Connect and Collaborate. Once again, I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer. And today we are talking construction, and more specifically, we're talking Colorado Construction Connection Program, and that was founded by the Associated General Contractors, and you have worked with schools and with construction companies throughout Colorado to bring forth more students to get more employees in the construction field, right?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We are super excited about it. We finished up our first year with 11 schools and about 80 volunteers, and I think we now know what we've got in front of us to start next September. We're going to be trying to do quite a few more schools, and we already have 130 volunteers ready to go.
Michael, we did forget to mention one thing earlier, and that was that when this all came about and all the roundtable discussions, Governor Hickenlooper actually declared October as Construction Careers and Construction Month. And it was a proclamation. And so we had the governor's support in this first year, and that's why we really tried to focus in on doing most of the job site tours during the month of October.
Okay.
That's when we tried to really bring in our team of volunteers to assist the schools. But that proclamation was huge, and we were very excited about that.
Yes, and I want to reiterate for our audience, volunteers are navigators. Right, okay.
Same thing,
Yes,
yes.
but yes, they are volunteers,
Yes.
which is very critical
Yes.
to this program, and that's very exciting. So congratulations, by the way, on getting the proclamation from Governor Hickenlooper. That's huge.
And it was for the industry reps. I mean, they were
Yeah.
they were very excited and proud to be a part of that, especially with that being our inaugural month. So it'll be that way every October now.
Yay,
Yeah.
how exciting. So we have 1 year under our belts, and we feel really good about it. Let's talk a little bit about the future. You mentioned that you've got 130 volunteers signed up, right?
80 this year, right?
80
Right.
last year.
Yes, and then 130 this next year already signed up.
Yeah.
And we're taking more.
Yes, you've almost doubled. That's awesome.
Well, and we'd like to go to double the number of schools if we can as well.
Yeah.
So we are recruiting additional high schools to get involved.
Yeah.
And of course, they can go to buildcolorado.com or call us at the AGC at
Yeah.
303-388-2422. I haven't remembered the number.
Yeah.
And so we want to get more schools involved. And if even there's a parent out there that wonders if their school is involved, they can call and check or kind of encourage their school,
Yeah.
their high school, for their son or daughter to be involved in the program.
Certainly. Well, and you mentioned son or daughter, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I have this connotation when I think construction, definitely a male-dominated field. So are we targeting women more so?
Absolutely.
Or,
Our
okay.
tours with the schools I represented this year, I would say about half of them were female gender, and they were excited.
Yeah.
The trades really want to see more females come into the industries. Electricians, for sure, the attention to detail that our young ladies have. And they haven't really thought about it through school because we no longer have industrial arts or wood shop classes for the kids.
Yeah.
So we really took all of that away, and the exposure went with it.
Yeah.
So now some of the career and tech ed classes, they're doing building pathways, for example. I know Smoky Hill High School has a building pathways course where they get to really actually build and learn more about the trades in a general sense. But we are definitely actively recruiting more young women into the field. And they get to meet on the job sites some pretty amazing women that are in the field, and to get to see where they are now is very encouraging for our young ladies.
I would imagine.
Very encouraging.
And you mentioned the different trades here, and again, I know I kept talking about being in the elements a little bit, and clearly I'm a little bit biased, and I only have one view about this career. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know that was something that you were passionate about mentioning, the different ways, the different jobs you can have.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to envision any typical job site you'd see down the street, multi-story tower crane, you'll have up to 1,000 different workers in and out from the beginning stages of concrete to the finishing stages of trimming out electrical. Not uncommon at all. Average of maybe 150 a day. And overall, like I said, start to finish, 1,000 workers. And it's not all concrete form stakes and, pouring concrete. There's very technical, there's low voltage wiring going on, testing. And, when you look at all those different trades, we talked about kind of the progression of the entry level trade, just like any other profession you'd go into. There's always an entry level. And then the cool thing about construction is as you go through the different apprenticeship programs, all that training is provided by the contractors, by the unions, by the training schools that you go to. So you get training as you progress through your career. And, on the average, by the time you're 5 years in, you might be a journeyman electrician at that point. And whether it's you decide to do low voltage, or you decide to do high voltage or medium voltage or civil electrical work or whatever it is, you still have those skills to be an electrician, whatever your specialty is. Whether you decide to go start your own company being an electrician. I don't know how many people have tried to doing any renovations at their houses and trying to find folks to come and do work. It's hard just to find people to call you back when you need things done. So you're building skills that, regardless of what you do, if you continue on this path or another, you have skills that you can use in the future, which I think is so valuable to the youth today, to be able to have something to build on, regardless of where you end up 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And along the way, there's the benefits of the pension plans, the 401ks, the health insurance. You're able to take care of yourself, take care of your family, just all those benefits that come along with having a skilled, career. I just think is amazing, and that's what we want to do, is help share those opportunities and the diversity with the people out there.
I want to underline that for our audience again. You're starting out 18 years old. You've just graduated high school. Sometimes 17, you're getting into a market right away. You can build your career and your education at the same time.
Absolutely.
You're going to have a firm pay for that for you.
That's right.
And in the meantime, you're investing in your own retirement at that age and benefits, which I don't know about you guys at 18, but whatever. I did dental, right? Mom always made that appointment for me, right? I didn't understand that at all. And so, having that and access to that right away, you're saving yourself years.
I have a really awesome story about a young lady that I'm working with right now. She's completed her junior year of high school. So we're in the summer between junior and senior year. She's got 1 year of welding under her belt, and she's going to be taking the advanced welding this year in her senior year. I challenge the industry partners. We need to capture these kids in that junior year, the summer. That's where we need. So I've actually got a job opportunity for her in a prefab shop. She's not going to be welding because she's under 18. So the insurance and the rules are the rules. But we need these kids in their junior, be going into their senior year. Let them touch it, feel it, actually earn a paycheck. And then when they walk that stage next May, they already know where they're going. Yeah. And I'm really working hard this summer as an employment specialist, trying to set up those opportunities, be it a job shadow, a paid work experience, a summer intern job. That, I think, is where we can really backtrack the train a little bit and capture them now. And this young lady is so excited. When she saw that they had a welding department in this prefab shop, she was like, oh yeah. So maybe not this summer, but she's at least going to get some hands-on experience. And then next summer she'll be ready to rock and roll.
Well, and that's amazing, right? Like, she gets to go right into it. Not every student can say that. Yeah, that's fascinating.
We are looking at a couple opportunities to adjust those rules so that a junior can do some limited work on the job site. Now, there's certainly estimating and project management where they can work in the office side, but we need to let them get their hands on part of the process at least. So we are looking over time how to do that. I wanted to follow up on the opportunity that Joel was really laying out, because I've had a number of parents ask this question. When you graduate from high school and go into an apprenticeship, you're not going to school during the day. You are actually physically working for the construction company during the day, and then typically you're going to school one night a week. That's paid by the employer.
One night, though.
So, and you do that typically in most of the trades over 4 years, and you've moved through that 4-year apprenticeship and become a journey person, and the entire time you've been fully employed with those benefits that we talked about. And you're doing a little bit of school, so you're doing both at the same time, and then if you want to do further school after that. So that's just one of the pathways in that binder that's being explained to these individuals, and I think increasingly people are starting to understand that.
Yeah.
And that's, and I'd add to that, Michael, I mean, that is a pathway to a supervisory position on a job site. I can think of multiple folks right off the top of my head that started out as a apprentice level 1 carpenter who are now superintendent 1, superintendent 2, superintendent 3, general superintendent folks out on our job sites running work. And so really depending on what you put into it and what you want to make of it, it really is, limitless what you want to do in the construction industry.
It's one of the most autonomous fields, correct? I would, yeah, I feel that you don't have somebody breathing down your neck all the time. I mean, obviously there's supervision on a site, as there should be, but you can make your own path.
And like Michael said, these young adults, I mean, when they're walking across the stage and going into one of these careers, they are getting on-the-job training.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they've got the soft skills is what we're really working hard on right now. Are you dependable? Are you motivated? Do you want to learn? Are you drug-free? We've got, those certain things that we have to address up front. But they are really learning their trade on the job, being paid for it, and being put through the apprenticeship programs. It's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to hit on, we talked about kind of the expansion and this idea that, maybe 10 to 11 schools a year, another 50 or so industry representatives a year, and we keep growing this thing. One of the other real big opportunities for expansion we have is outside of kind of Denver metro type region, where we right now have industry representatives in Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, up in the mountains, up the I-70 corridor, where we have industry representatives ready to get paired up with high schools. And we're still in search of those high schools that want to get some industry representatives in them.
Yeah.
So that's also the other opportunity. We look at Colorado, and there's, Denver metro being a strong area, but really these goals that we have and these efforts that we are doing are statewide. Rural areas need workers just like every other area does, and rural students need careers just like every area does. And so, industry representatives in these schools, whether these students come to work for my company or a caulking company or a tile company or another general contractor, at the end of the day, it's really about the students and helping them connect with careers and something they're interested in. And so it really is, that's where having AGC is this industry group to bring us all together to go for that same cause is really, really important. It makes a big difference on these types of big initiatives.
Yeah, that is awesome. So have you been a navigator or volunteer? Is that something you've done?
So what I've helped facilitate is some of these October Construction Career Month job site tours.
Okay.
So we had we just completed the CDOT, Colorado Department of Transportation headquarters building over on Colfax by the football stadium. And so we were able to have two high school tours come through, and we had the folks on the job site very similar to what Lindy described, and we had booths set up with specialty trades. And specialty trades is a very large group of what folks that are out there really doing the work on these job sites every day. There's some of the bigger jobs we see with the big general contractors that are kind of helping to oversee it all, but the vast majority of the folks out there are the specialty trades, and they're very, very, very important to the success of the project and the community. And so that's where we would have specialty trades on a job like that, set up the booths, get to help explain what they do to these students walking around. And
give me an example,
it was great.
If you don't mind.
Can I?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
go for
please.
it. You've been waiting.
I know. Sorry. With Team Bennett, our group of industry representatives, our volunteers, one of the specialty contractors there was Colorado Hardscapes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'd never heard of them, never seen their work, didn't know anything about it myself, being in the education system. But they came out and they set up a sample for the students to learn how to actually spread concrete and do the concrete stamping.
Okay.
It was a total hands-on activity.
What do you mean by stamping?
It's where they put, they just barely get it laid, and it's very specialized. And then they take these rubber stamps. So when you see it at the parks or even down at the Union Station, I know they've done a lot of the waterfalls there.
Yeah.
It looks like almost like a tree, but it's not. It looks like it's a petrified tree trunk.
Okay.
But it's concrete.
It's like
Amazing.
Okay.
yeah, like a decorative patio.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might look like stones, but it's
Yeah.
really just a concrete slab that they might have colored and stamped in a pattern.
I had no idea. You guys are blowing my mind right now.
It was amazing. And they were one of those industry reps that I called again later on and said, hey, I have a separate group of students. Bring them down. And so we did a whole tour of their company. But that's a specialty that you walk by and you don't think, who makes that?
Yeah.
How is that made?
It just was there.
It was there.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. I want to take a picture with it. That's amazing. Okay, so that's, yeah, how rewarding, right, for these kids and for the contractors. As you mentioned, they get really excited too, I'm sure, to be able to share their work and show where it comes from, and students that are excited to learn about it, right?
And we had some of the electricians that would set up some activities for the students to do. I know one of the job sites, I don't remember which trade it was, but they actually used Legos to help take the floor plan or the building plan and then have to try to mimic it with the Legos. And it was really awesome.
Yeah.
I actually kind of went, never mind. But those are the kinds of hands-on activities.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. That's, let's talk a little bit more. Sorry, we did interrupt your story here.
It was very fitting. I couldn't have told that story
it.
better myself.
But we did interrupt your stroll here on how you set up these tours.
Sure, yeah. So, we talked about starting off with the tours in October, and that was kind of one of the kickoff big events where every high school, every group of industry representatives did a tour of a job site. And so it was really collaborative because you would have each group might have one or two general contractors, and which job is the most appropriate, which one's close to the job site. It was just very interactive. We all brought in lunch. We all chipped in to bring lunch for the students. AGC helped out with shirts for everybody. So it really felt like this big, huge collaborative effort that was fun to be a part of. And then going forward, what we've talked about with the industry representatives hosting, agreeing to host 3 to 4 events throughout the year. So we have actually a list that we provide to the schools that says, here's 10 different things that we can do.
Mm-hmm. Some ideas,
right?
Some ideas.
And so then that way, we have this kickoff meeting with the school. We talk about, we're going to do 3 or 4 events. Here's what they are. What do you think would appeal to your students? What would really connect? What could we plug into that you're already doing, type of thing. And so I've heard some really, really good feedback on some panels that have been done where those industry representatives would go to the school and get to speak for half-hour chunks of time about their role, where they, how they got there, what they've done in the past, what they do, and answer questions. Yeah. I hear a lot of feedback about students feeling comfortable asking maybe questions that they wouldn't ask some of their teachers about to the industry representatives, and just really kind of being that person that they could go to talk to about construction. So I've heard really good feedback on those panels. And then I touched on it earlier too, the idea of the mock interviews.
Mm-hmm. That's
you don't want ideally the first time you go to interview, you don't want it to be the job that you have to get. And so, just being there to have a adult in front of you that's been there and done that and ask questions and be prepared and look at your resume and all that stuff. Like I said, no matter what you decide to do, whether it's construction or something else, that's a skill that's going to help that student. And so that's one of the things that I've also heard some good feedback on.
The other thing we did on that, Joel, is informational interviewing. That has been really successful I have a young student who thought he wanted to go this direction, and then after all these experiences, he's like, I don't know. So he would actually set up an appointment with one of our partners and go out and sit down for half hour, an hour, and ask him questions. Tell me more about it individually. Informational interview. So the student is actually interviewing the professional to learn more about it on a one-on-one basis. And then go out and kind of make that decision, that informed decision.
Yeah.
So those have been very helpful as well.
That is fascinating.
I talked about the excitement from the construction company participants, and I think you're getting that flavor there. They're willing to have them come, and they just want to get the information out and have made a good decision. If it's not for them, then at least they know they rule that out and do something else. But they're very excited about those kind of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I want to ask each of you what your favorite part so far has been with starting this program. I'm going to start here with you, Michael.
Well, probably for me, it's twofold. So I'm going to break your rule. One thing, it's seeing the companies be so hands-on and so energetic in their response, so giving, even if they're helping the student decide their company isn't the one, it's another one. I mean, they really are treating it as a whole industry that needs to be opened up, and so that they can see that. The other part is the schools, and honestly, there was a time a few years ago where the schools were focusing on some of the more purely academic areas to the detriment of these kind of career paths for the students. And now the schools are very open to looking at the broader range. And that's been a breath of fresh air to the way they've invited us in. And I mean, more and more schools are saying, yes, this is something that we want our students to know about. So it's been the excitement kind of from both sides.
How about you, Joel?
Well, obviously being in the construction industry, we are doers. And so, you hear about shortages, it's let's go do something about it. So given construction people the opportunity to go do something about it is why you see all the engagement from industry right out of the chute. So I'd say real quickly, just to get the names out there and give some credit to these schools that have participated. The first year one, and the schools that participated and are back again for year two: Bennett High School, Bowman Technical Education Center, Denver Public Schools Career Education Center, Hidden Lake High School, McLean High School, Northridge High School, Smoky Hill High School, Thompson Valley High School, Westminster High School. And then again this year, as part of our expansion, we're adding another DPS school. I'm not sure which one it is yet, but we are adding another one. We have Arapahoe High School, Brush High School, Columbine High School, Grandview High School, Green Mountain High School, Littleton High School, and Westminster High School. So again, and the opportunity to add more in Fort Collins, up the I-70 corridor, and Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And the opportunity for more industry representatives. So going forward, that's the call to action. Love to see more high schools. Love to see more industry. It's a great program. We'd love to have you. And I think you can tell from Lindy's passion that she'd love to have us too. So
I'm ready to retire and actually join the trades. No. And I tell my students that. It has been a fabulous year, and I am so excited. I've actually offered to be a volunteer liaison with a couple of additional schools this year because I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And knowing that we're in the schools now, counselors now have a resource. They know who to come to. The parents are openly communicating with us, and I challenge every high school out there, if you don't have it, call us, talk to your career and tech ed. It's been fabulous, and I'm excited to be a part of the team.
Yeah, and again, buildcolorado.com, whether you're a parent, whether you're a student, whether you are a part of an administration for a school or in a construction company, we encourage you, please join this group of people that are building careers, building livelihood for kids, right?
That's right. That's right.
The other great piece of news is we have a lot of building left to go.
Yes.
I mean, as you look out into the future, the opportunity is just going to get stronger.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, you guys. This has been a fascinating conversation. It always goes so quickly. But again, visit buildcolorado.com and check out this and more at cobrt.com/radio-podcast, and be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube page. Thank you so much. It's been lovely.
Alex.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.